True Business Review back with another video today, and today we're going to be predicting the AFC South. Just to let you guys know, my friend Dan and I are both running this channel. We're posting individual videos. He's doing most of the individual record predictions, so go check those out, and I'm doing some of the division predictions. Alright, so let's begin. I'm going to rank these teams from 4th to 1st. Obviously, 1st is going to win the division. Now, when you look at the AFC South, I can make a really easy analogy. The fate of this division rests on the arms of Phillip Rivers or the legs of Derrick Henry. We'll get into that later. Starting out with the 4th team, the team that has no shot of winning this division. Las Vegas ranks this team at plus 3,000 to win the division. So you bet $100 you'll make whatever that is times 30. So 3,000, I don't know, whatever. So coming in at number 4, the Jacksonville Jaguars. What are you doing? Why'd you get rid of Nick Foles? Oh my God. So they got rid of Nick Foles, which was a horrible move for them. I mean, maybe they saved some salary, but I doubt it. Gardner Minshew is not going to carry this franchise to another, to the playoffs. And they're not going to get close to the playoffs with Gardner Minshew. Obviously, Leonard Fournette, he's a pretty solid running back. Really good. They have, the next to leave, but then they're looking at the free agent, Yannick Ngakoue. And he's a really good defensive lineman, pass rusher. He's probably leaving town next, right after Nick Foles. So they don't have that much talent. They still have 3 Pro Bowl players on defense from like 2017. But this team is not built to make the playoffs right now. They're in a tough division, and they're not going to win that many games this year. Coming in at number 3, we have the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien is both the GM and the coach of this team. And we definitely got a glimpse of how that works out in this offseason. He traded DeAndre Hopkins for these nuts on your chin. I don't know what he's doing. They re-signed Darren Fells, Brandon Dunn, Bradley Roby, and Hargreaves. But this offseason is going to be remembered as the one where they let DeAndre Hopkins go. O'Brien made the decision to trade arguably the best wide receiver in the game to the Cardinals for running back David Johnson and a second-round pick, and what was essentially a swap of fourth-round picks. So they traded one of their best players for a running back who brings injury concerns and a massive contract at Houston. It came out that Hopkins wanted a change of scenery and a new deal because O'Brien reportedly was insulting him, which, obviously I don't blame Hopkins. Breakups happen in the NFL. It's just a team's responsibility to get fair value in return for that player. Even a couple days after this trade, there was a wild locker room dispute that made O'Brien look even worse. I say all of this to make the point this is only the latest blunder the Texans have made. There's so many mistakes that the Houston Texans have made over just the last year, and it's why I think the Texans will take a step backwards this season. Giving up your main offensive weapon and trying to replace him with Randall Cobb is going to hurt you. Randall Cobb is not the DeAndre Hopkins. The last 5 seasons, he has not recorded more than 5 touchdowns every season, and I don't think he's gotten 1,000 yards receiving either. While Deshaun Watson is a rising star, and the Texans have some good pieces on defense, J.J. Watt is an animal. Eventually, all of these moves are going to catch up with them. They've made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years, but they're not going to make it in 2020. Coming in at number 2 and revealing the number 1 team. Number 2 is the Indianapolis Colts. All right, this one was close. Indianapolis Colts, honestly, I have more faith in them with Jacoby Brissett than I do with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers really took a step back last year. He's getting old. I don't think that he's going to be a bad player. I just don't trust him to make the playoffs. In his last season with the Chargers, it appeared he was on his way out of the league and fast. He finished 4th in passing yards with 4,600, but he finished 3rd in the NFL with 20 interceptions and an 88 passer rating. His touchdown percentage of 3.9 was the lowest for him since becoming a Chargers starting quarterback in 2006. And his net yards gained per pass attempt, 7, was his lowest since 2012. Frank Reich is a really good coach, obviously coming from the Eagles' Super Bowl run, and he's trusting that Rivers still has some thread left on the tires. Additionally, it needs to be said that Brissett didn't really get a fair chance to lead this team. The entire Colts roster was devastated by injuries last year. Looking at the wideouts, we got T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Devin Funchess, Chester Rogers, and Darius Fountain all missed a lot of time with injuries. If this were a video game and injuries were turned off last season, the Colts would have been a pretty good team. If Rivers can bring a spark to this locker room and the roster can remain healthy, then the Colts might surprise and win this division. Coming in number 1, the Tennessee Titans. From pretender to contender, the Titans experienced a major rebirth in 2019. Derrick Henry led the league in rushing yards and quite literally carried the Titans to the AFC Championship, while Ryan Tannehill reinvented himself as a franchise quarterback. Now, is he a franchise quarterback? That's to be proven. I still don't know if it's Derrick Henry carrying the team with like Ryan Tannehill as a background piece, or if it's them working together, to make this team have a good offense. I don't know. With that being said, A.J. Brown's a really good wide receiver. I think he'll be a star, and Corey Davis is a good piece to get A.J. Brown open. The Titans recognized that Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill were the reason they made it to the playoffs and locked them both in for 2020. Tannehill signed a 4-year, $118 million extension, so they obviously have faith in him. And the Titans used the franchise tag on Henry. The Titans did lose Jack Conklin to the Cleveland Browns, but they quickly re-signed Dennis Kelly and are going to give him a chance to start on the right side of the offensive line. And as far as the defense goes, the Titans improved from number 16 to number 9 in DVOA, and I think they could exceed expectations again next year. The Titans had a tough time getting pass rush in 2019, and they aimed to improve that when they signed pass rusher Vic Beasley. It appears they finally have someone to play opposite of Harold Landry, who recorded a career-high 9 sacks last year, and is expected to take another step forward in 2020. If they can add some pieces to the secondary, this team should win the division and can make another deep postseason run. There is one problem, though, and that's if Henry orchestrates a holdout. He rushed for 1,540 yards last year and 16 touchdowns. He did everything he could to earn a long-term extension, but the Titans understood it's not wise to give that money to running backs. Obviously, with the franchise tag, he might not be getting the money he wants. He probably wants an extension. So if they lose Henry and he holds out, the Titans' postseason hopes are in serious jeopardy. So hold your breath, Tennessee. There's the rankings. We got the 4 teams in the AFC South. Let me know if you guys agree with these rankings. Please drop a like and comment your team to have them featured in the next video. Subscribe.